Well, very good morning to our friends in the US and welcome to the S Word from talkSPORT. I'm Will Gavin, Master Tesfatsian alongside
Just a good morning?
me.
Just a good morning? It feels like a great morning to me.
He's right. It is a great morning. And you know why it's a great morning? Because there's just one story in town. Because there's just one thing on everyone's lips. The ball knower next to me. We have to talk about this. First and foremost, of course, I'm talking about PSG against Bayern Munich tonight in the Champions League, the second semi-final, the follow-up to the best game of the season so far. And we are doing 2 straight hours on PSG Bayern, right?
No, we're not. You know what we're doing for 2 straight hours? We're singing, we're on our way to Budapest, we're on our way.
Of course, we are going to talk about Arsenal reaching their first Champions League final in 20 years, looking to win their first, let's be honest, truly major European trophy. I'm sorry to the Cup Winners' Cup. I just don't feel the right way about it. Or the Fairs, let's be honest, either. So, yes, we will get into the action last night. Master was at the Emirates and has plenty of stories to tell. We will talk Bayern PSG as well, as much as you'll be leading the line.
The future runner-ups?
You've got to be excited about that.
Of course I am. It should be fun. It should be a fantastic spectacle tonight.
The future runner-up. We'll be speaking with journalist Stafford Bloor, with Eric Bielderman about that game. And we're going to hear from some absolute legends who have joined talkSPORT today. Michael Owen, exclusively talking to talkSPORT today. We're getting some Ballon d'Or chat off the back of that. Plus a man who played for Manchester City and for Arsenal. The two teams very much in the title race here in the Premier League. Emmanuel Adebayor and a very special guest will join us in the studio, all coming up on the S Word. All right. No, look, I'm joking with you. I'll roll my eyes. I'll have some fun with you today. But listen, 22 years without a league title, 20 years since he last reached a Champions League final. You were firing us in videos of the reaction on the streets of North London last night.
It was all around me.
It was from a fan perspective, a joy to see. I can't even imagine what it was like being boots on the ground.
It was one of my favorite experiences I've ever had watching a sporting event. And without question, the greatest match I've seen at the Emirates. Atmosphere-wise, everyone brought it. You saw 3 hours before the match, everyone was there jeering the Atletico Madrid buses, cheering on the Arsenal buses. Everyone brought the energy. It truly... It reminded me, and I'll use a reference point, 2023, okay? Arsenal was not in the Champions League, at least in the semifinal. I was at Manchester City, Real Madrid second leg at the end. And we know that.
A better game of football, let's be honest, but...
I mean, it was a battering, but that one, that's, second leg going into it. Real Madrid, Man City had just faced off in 2022, that epic classic, Rodrigo scoring those 2 goals.
So I was thinking of 2022. That's what I just did there, wasn't it? Yeah.
I was there too.
This guy.
And so the following year, being at the Etihad second leg, the reputation that the Etihad has of being a church, being a library, being very quiet. And I was on the grounds 3 hours before that match, and you could tell the City fans were up for it. And the scarves were all sold out. The programs were all sold out. Everyone's outside chanting, screaming, having a great time. The idea, without any sort of disbelief, that City was going to win this game and they were going to go to the Champions League final. I felt that from Arsenal fans last night. The undeniable belief that everyone had in that building, that after 90 minutes, Arsenal was going to walk away on top and go into Budapest. And that's the exact energy the fans gave and delivered. And even though it was a 1-0 game, I was also at the Newcastle-Arsenal 1-0 match. That was very nervy, and a lot of fans were upset and furious. This was the exact opposite 1-0.
Is that not partially because, and look, I'll say it up front, people want to accuse you of having the easy draw, the easy route, and everything.
Arsenal, it's a Champions League.
This is me giving flowers at this point. Arsenal deserve the easy route because in November, December, you were the best team in Europe and you won all those games and you finished top of your league standings, right? You get to where you get because you deserve to be there. It's nonsense to suggest that, the fact that you've not faced a PSG or a Bayern yet is because of how you performed back in November, December. So
100%.
That should not be taken away from Arsenal in any shape or form.
Unbeaten in Champions League after 14 matches. That has never been done in this
I do not want to, and I've got to say, I don't want to lean negative at all, but I watched that game last night and I do not understand what Diego Simeone's side thought they were playing for. I did not see the passion. In a week where we've talked about Villa lying down against Spurs, in a week where we've talked about Chelsea lying down against Nottingham Forest, a Champions League semi-final for a team that are known as Los Colchoneros, who are known as being the workhorse team, at no point, particularly after Bukayo Saka opened the scoring, did I feel like you were at any true risk of losing that game.
He rested all of his starters and was only able to get 2 shots on target in that match. And look, you can criticize Atletico Madrid all you want to. The Julian Alvarez injury clearly had some sort of impact on his performance. He was subbed off at the same time Griezmann was subbed off at about 10, 15 minutes left in the match. And you can hear the chatter among Arsenal fans. There was already belief. But once that substitution happened, it was undeniable. At that point, it was. You might as well just blew the final whistle then, because every single Arsenal fan was already thinking about Budapest.
From about 20 minutes through to when you scored in the start of the second half, there was like a 45-minute period where Anton Griezmann touched the ball more often around his own box than he did anything like at the other end of the pitch. And he was back and he was working and he was like, don't get me wrong, I feel like I've suggested they didn't put effort in. They obviously put effort in last night, but like there was no threat, no risk, no real endeavour, nothing like a lot of the stuff that actually Arsenal during the down part of their season, when they did let City catch back up, when you did fall out of those 2 other competitions, the stuff that had been levied at you, that you weren't being bold enough, you weren't pushing forward enough, and I got frustrated watching it. I was a little bit like, I understand why the kind of Arsenal haters out there today are a little bit annoyed about this.
Oh, they're quiet right now, though. I don't know. What did I say yesterday?
Sorry, have you been watching or listening to talkSPORT? I don't think the Arsenal haters have been quiet at all.
Oh no, they've been absolutely quiet. What did I say yesterday during my beautiful rant that I gave? I told you, the best part about Arsenal winning these big games, no one texts you. No one responds. And the few that have mustered up the courage to say something, all they're doing is coping.
I text our group chat once last night and I just put, congratulations,
That's
Master.
it. That's all he said.
Was it.
That's all he said. Everyone is coping right now. And to quote a wonderful musician, The Weeknd, for all those who thought Arsenal would lose, for all those that had their drafts ready to go, thinking that Arsenal was about to bottle once again another semifinal opportunity in the Champions League, The Weeknd once said, "Save your tears for another day."
I don't think we needed you to sing it. Talking of singing, let's actually see Master in action last night. Was this a full-time whistle? Was this?
It was full-time whistle.
Yeah,
more singing, right?
Here we go. I'm sorry. No, thank you. What have we created? You are like, what have we created?
A monster.
All we've done is give you a platform. This is the human being and the man that you always have been. I remember as we were getting in the build up to this, to putting this show on, and if you've not watched the S Word before, we are here to bridge that gap between North America and ourselves here, soccer and football. Like that is the whole vibe of the show. You were quad day, baby. You believed the quad was coming. You believed it was going to happen.
I was ready for the quad. It didn't happen, but it's okay. Lean into that.
It did not happen.
It's all right. I'd rather be the arrogant American fan
who has to take it on the chops when it doesn't happen.
But it's never happened. You might lean into it. So it's a joy. And guess what? Sure, we didn't win the Leagues Cup. Unfortunately, I was there at Wembley and I had to experience that. That was poor. Lost at Southampton in the FA Cup, sure. But the 2 trophies that matter. The 2 trophies.
He'd be saying if they'd won the League Cup and lost last night, it's like it's still a real trophy.
The 2
it's still
trophies,
an important trophy.
Because if we would have won that trophy, everyone would have been like, "Oh, you got to win a world trophy." The 2 trophies that everyone always knock Arsenal about. We're still alive. The double's on, baby. The double is on.
Can we talk about the post game?
What about it?
Right. I again want to repeat that I am a huge fan of the celebrations on the street outside afterwards, of the fans reveling in this moment. Like if a team that I followed got to this stage, I would be reveling in it as well. I'd be outside on the street.
We're still celebrating.
I'd be dancing in. I'm not sure Master's been to bed yet. Like he claims that he's had I had a little bit of sleep. I'm like, I've seen how much coffee you've had in the last few hours. There is. I do not want to take anything away from those fans in any way, shape, or form. But you've not won it yet, right? This is a team who does not have. This is not. This is not a team who has European pedigree in the same way of Bayern Munich or a PSG. One Cup Winners' Cup, Champions League final loser, two-time Cup Winners' Cup final loser, a UEFA Cup final loser, a Europa League final loser. Until I see you actually lift the trophy, I don't want to see fireworks.
Oh, do you hear that sound?
I don't want to see the players running up to the end, go, way, sliding on the pitch.
The celebration police have arrived.
Mikel Ted Lasso Arteta getting on the field. Dad dancing his way through it. It was.
Lock me up.
It was cringy. It was embarrassing, and it was. What I want to see,
please.
What I want to see from a team, I want to see that you're locked in. I want to think of the greats. I can never imagine LeBron James celebrating a conference championship, Kobe celebrating, Michael Jordan celebrating a conference championship. I don't see Tom Brady treating playoff wins or an AFC championship in the same way you treat a Super Bowl. I don't see Tiger Woods celebrating after leading in the third round of the Masters. I'm saying the fans should celebrate. I'm completely on board with that. I'm saying that the team going out there, I just want to see them being like, right, great, on to the next one. Because we've still got to win. You've got a hand on each trophy right now.
Do.
You've got 4 wins left in this season. If you win 4 games, you are a double winner. You're a Champions League winner for the first time. That is etching your names into history.
I
don't want to see you
can't wait for that
sliding in front of the fans. I don't want to see you behaving like you've already won the trophy.
Everyone
I want to see
knocks Arsenal.
But just think about it. If, and let's be honest, you're not going to be favourites on May 30th.
Who cares?
If you lose that game of football, everyone's going to go, look how embarrassing that was.
And you know what they'll forget? When I was at that 2022 match, Real Madrid, Manchester City, second leg. You know what Real Madrid was doing? Ole! With all their fans after they won that contest and they ended up going to the Champions League final. When I was there in 2023 at the Etihad, guess what City was doing? Popping fireworks and all that as the players arrived into the stadium and trying to get them to
pre-game's fine, but you're hyping people up. Post-game, I want to see, right, great, we've won it, let's move. You can have fun.
The
players need to be business. They need to be ready to go. They need to know that on the 30th of May, they are coming up against a proper European juggernaut, teams that have won this competition in the last 5 years, and teams that on paper right now and based on that performance we saw last week are better football teams than Arsenal are.
And guess what? They didn't beat them. Bayern Munich did not beat them. PSG, sure, last year, and we saw Bukayo Saka's comments about him trying to subtly talk about who it is that he wants to face. I personally believe it's PSG, and I hope it is PSG. Either way, regardless of who it is, they're going to be the runners-up. But
you're not the team of November and December. You haven't been that good.
The last 2
Bayern
matches have been completely different.
The last 2 matches have been your best performances since January.
It's a completely different team. They're healthy. Bukayo Saka, the star boy, growing into the star man, as we saw, scoring once again.
Yeah, and you know I'm a Bukayo guy because I want him to be playing well for England come the World Cup final.
5 players.
Finals. Get the S on the head. That's important.
5 players in our starting 11. English.
Yeah.
The whole country should be getting behind us.
I'm excited.
Everyone should be galvanizing about what Arsenal's doing right now because it is the difficult challenge of winning Champions League. And time again, this country has seen the PSG or another team in La Liga or another country coming in and defeating this league that has become a juggernaut, that has become a super league with the billions of dollars that are spent.
What you've got to hope for and what you've got to believe is that performance against Fulham, who were a team who were at least semi on the beach, if not by the end of that game, fully on the beach, that the performance against an Atleti side, who I was very disappointed with last night, were the beginning of you peaking for the end of the season. Because what I'm seeing from PSG and from Bayern last week, domestically, everything else, is those are teams who have that experience. Those are teams who have been there time and time again. And as the season goes on, and as you get to the point where you need to peak,
because they can rest their players in their own league because they're not competing in it.
PSG is still in a title race at this point.
Yeah, they changing the.
Bayern Munich have got one of the fittest squads in Europe.
How many matches have they changed? Have they requested that Ligue 1 would change the match because they have a difficult fixture coming up midweek?
That's something the Premier League should do. I've always believed that.
But how are they going to do that? Because there's 10,000 matches that each team has to play, and unfortunately, if you're Arsenal, you're playing every 3 or 4 days.
But my point is that you peaked in November, December.
We haven't peaked yet.
You have survived in the Premier League title race, and you now need to peak over the next 5 weeks.
Just wait.
No, but the problem is maybe you have peaked on the celebrations. Maybe you have peaked on
May 31st.
That might have been the best night of your Arsenal supporting career, and it may still be come May 31st.
The other reason why I have no problem with that celebration, it is the last match that they will play in this Champions League run that they've had, where they've gone unbeaten, celebrating with the fans that are there. Because unfortunately, as expensive as the tickets are going to be in Budapest, they're not going to be able to be there. Celebrate with the fans that it was an incredible achievement. They haven't done it in 20 years. Have that moment with them. 24 hours later, celebrate that. On to West End.
Celebrate with the fans on Holloway Road on May 31st if you win it. Celebrate with the fans who are able to get there in Budapest on May 30th. That's when I want those guys to be celebrated.
The fans gave it their all. That was the best atmosphere, the Emirates.
Fireworks.
All the fireworks, the tifos, all fire, everything. You saw Arteta over there was trying to dance like he was at a wedding. It was beautiful. I loved every single second of it. And I will not apologize for being an unabashed, positive, optimistic, celebratory Arsenal fan because, damn it, we deserve it. We deserve these moments, and we're going to celebrate these moments.
I am all for the fans going out into the streets and having a great time. I just think the team are setting themselves up by behaving like that. Because this is a team who haven't reached a semi-final since 2009, a quarter-final since 2010. You had 7 straight seasons going out in the round of 16.
Sounds like a reason to celebrate for me.
That's some Stoya Bucharest nonsense, right? It is a reason for the fans to enjoy it. And Mikel Arteta has got this team to a quarter-final, a semi-final, and a final in the space of 3 years. That is sensational.
Wonderful.
But you haven't won it. You have to go and win it.
The double is on.
You need to put yourself in that frame. Chelsea, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa. Put yourself amongst those names, then you can celebrate all the way through the summer. Then Bukayo Saka can celebrate so hard he misses the first 2 games for England. Whatever. That's fine.
Is that what you would like?
Obviously I don't.
Exactly.
But my point is that just... be a bit humble, be a bit ready for the fight. You've still got to win your next 3 Premier League games. The hangover that could come this weekend.
Why are you guys so modest?
The hangover that could come against West Ham on Monday. It's going to be absolutely brutal. If you drop points against West Ham, suddenly those celebrations
here we go
last night
again.
are going to look rough.
It's coping again. Oh, what if, all this stuff. Save your tears for another day.
We're going to concentrate on the actual game of the week coming up next because we're going to be talking about PSG against Bayern Munich. We're going to focus on both sides of this conversation. So we're heading out to Germany to speak with Seb Stafford-Bloor coming up. We've got Eric Bielderman coming up as well. You can get in touch with the show on our Instagram, on our X page. It's at talkSPORT S Word. And on YouTube, get in the chat. Make sure I check it during the breaks, and we will make sure we get you involved in the show because we'd love to hear from you.
God forbid you're an Arsenal fan.
How
celebrating in the chat.
Are you of the Arsenal fans chirping?
The celebration police is in the chat. Look out! Don't celebrate too much.
The weather. From kickoff to the full-time whistle, talkSPORT presents the S Word. kickoff to the full-time whistle.
Don't say the S word. Say the F word. Football.
The S word.
From talkSPORT.
Yeah. I'm going full Mikel Arteta with my dance moves. Yeah, I am.
May 31st, that's going to be you, North London?
I'll tell you what. If you win the Champions League, if you beat PSG or Bayern Munich, I'll come to the parade. I said to Sam earlier, I might even say that.
Really?
I might even make a slightly rowdier bet on it tomorrow, but let's wait and see who it is.
I will. Give me 24 hours.
If it's the team I think it's going to be in the final that you're up against.
We'll find out, I guess, right?
Well, we're going to be talking about that coming up shortly. You are watching and listening to the S Word. If you check us out, the S Word YouTube channel and also on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. Get in the chat, get involved. We've obviously been talking so far about Master was at the Arsenal game last night. The celebrations afterwards, beautiful from the fans. Too much from the team? I certainly think so. But we want to hear from you. So get in touch with us. You can see on the screen right now, which side is it if I'm pointing at it? That side. There we go. I'm going to learn. And talkSPORT S Word on Instagram, at talkSPORT S Word on X, or on the YouTube channel as well. But whilst Arsenal fans are still nursing last night's celebrations, the rest of the footballing world gets to revel that we get a second bite of the cherry at PSG against Bayern Munich.
Here goes Kane, right-footed, and he scores! Of course he scores!
It's just the highest level, you know. We've shown that we win a lot of games. PSG have shown that they win a lot of games and titles. We too.
Elise right through the middle here has rammed it into the net! What a pass to Luis Diaz, brings it down onto the right foot! This is just ridiculous!
At the end, it's still about making sure you score one more goal than any opponent you play against.
Kvaratskhelia shimmying feet and a low shot is brilliant! Ousmane Dembele, chance to make it 5! What a statement performance this is from the European champions. It is set up perfectly for the second leg in Munich.
Isn't it just 5-4 and one of the best games of football? I think anyone involved in this show, anyone basically has seen, I'd say, the best since the 2022 World Cup final, maybe, in that conversation. But it's not over yet. So who takes it tonight at the Allianz? I'm delighted to say that joining us now ahead of this massive second leg, German football correspondent at The Athletic, the brilliant Seb Stafford-Bloor. Seb, how are you doing, sir?
I'm excited, guys. I can't wait. I was at the game in Paris last week. I was at the Real Madrid game at Allianz a few weeks before that. I think it's me. I think I'm the one that maybe makes these games so watchable. So good news. I've made it to Munich. I will be in the stadium. Everyone can relax. Don't worry about the players. It's all in hand.
I wonder what that XG you're averaging at this point during Champions League matches. Those amazing spectacles that you're seeing. But Seb, great to have you on. We saw a lot of goals, obviously, in the first leg, 9, a record for a semifinal fixture. But defensively, however you want to describe the defensive efforts that were there, what adjustments need to be made on both sides to avoid 9 goals again?
Here comes the Arsenal fan talking about defensive standards.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
only
Master,
conceded 6 goals in the competition.
Listen. You know, the way I choose to the way I choose to look at it, right, is, Master, you have that much attacking talent on the pitch, and invariably you're going to find defenders who are one-on-one, overmatched. And if you're looking at someone like Marquinhos getting bullied, if you're looking at players of that caliber, of Meccano, you have to tip your hat to the attacking players and to the attacking structure. What I think, though, I think this evening Vincent Kompany plays Konrad Laimer, and a little bit of a deference to the situation, because clearly, right, Bayern are going to have to go forward. They're going to have to commit something to pursuing this game, because it's not going to finish 1-0, is it? So they're going to probably have to score more than 1 goal. And I think Laimer, with Alphonso Davies still struggling for a little bit of rhythm since coming back from his serious injury, and his little, he's had a few muscular problems since that layoff, since he returned for the first team action. I think Laimer gives them a little bit more control. It makes them a bit more combative. He can do things in field a little bit better without the ball. So let's see. But you know what? If we see something which is 50% of what we did last week, I think we're in for a real treat. This is technically, offensively, the 2 best attacking sides in Europe. So Come on.
They are. But at the same time, we got into this yesterday a little bit about there's this idea that game was just free-flowing, open attacking. Master thinks that if you were to replace the Arsenal back, like if you were to take basically a starting 11 from the remaining teams in the Champions League, that the entire back five would be Arsenal. How good were PSG in that last 20 minutes when Bayern were trying to come at them? How good was Toe? How good was Deo Meccano? Like, they were sensational in that last 20 minutes. So I still think, like, as much as we all hope for something as thrilling as it was last time, I kind of think maybe we start a little cagey. Maybe we see two teams who are ready to not play out a 9-goal thriller again.
Well, I don't know. I think both these teams are built to attack, because if you think about what they face in their domestic leagues, which is not always, but more often than not, deep blocks, teams that would be satisfied just to draw, hold them to points. I think they're built to cut through that. At the same time, I think it's a very good point about Arsenal. Like, if you were to kind of pick a man-for-man defence who would be the best performing players in the competition, I think it would be full of Arsenal players. At the same time, Arsenal are probably the best out of possession team in the world because of what they do as a system, not necessarily because you've got these individual players, because they are built to win in a certain way, which is very, very different. So I don't know. I'm not sure either. I'm not sure either PSG or Bayern are really built to say, right, let's lock it down. Let's try and find our goal. Let's get to 70 minutes, 75 minutes and see where we are. It's so unnatural to them that if you were to go out of that comfort zone in a game of this magnitude, I don't know. I'm not sure that's the smartest managerial choice, is it?
It'll be interesting because after those first 15 minutes, then 4 goals happened in a span of 10 minutes. It felt like 10, 12 minutes. So it'll be very interesting to watch. But I keep thinking back. You were at that Real Madrid-Bayern Munich match, the second leg, which was a fantastic match as well. And I was a bit surprised at how many chances Real Madrid was able to catch on the counter there. What are maybe some lessons that Bayern Munich can learn from that second leg fixture as they come back home with what should be a fantastic crowd? They haven't lost there. How can they improve off of that performance? Obviously, they advanced, but they clearly were a better side than Real Madrid. But Real Madrid was able to do some things that I think were a bit surprising for how dysfunctional they've been.
Yeah, very fair observation. Lesson 1, you can't accommodate bad goalkeeping in a game of this magnitude. So as good as Manuel Neuer was in the first leg in the Bernabeu, he had a terrible game in the second. You just can't do it. Can't do it. One of the reasons why Neuer has the reputation that he does is because he's been so stable and performed at such a high level for a long time. Lesson 2, when you go forward, unlike in the Bundesliga, you have to make some sort of deference to the opposition's strength. And clearly, when you go forward and you attack and you leave in that tie, Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., players of that quality going forward and breaking against your defenders, you have to make sure your rest defense is built to accommodate that and to snuff out those counters as they appear. The same problem is really going to exist tonight, because one of the features of the first leg, Master, it was, as I'm sure you saw, was anytime the ball came out of PSG's defence, it seemed to take 2 or 3 touches before somebody, either Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Doué, was on the touchline, zigzagging in towards the Bayern box. Again, isolated against a single defender. And with players of those abilities, you just can't allow that to happen. So there needs to be something built into the system which allows those situations to occur, because they're inevitable. PSG are too good to shut down for 90 minutes, but allows you to defend against them. So those are the 2 lessons. The first isn't really a lesson. The first is really just a kind of, this needs not to happen. So I'm not sure that counts as a lesson. But it's definitely something which can't happen again.
I can't believe that we've 6-7 minutes into this conversation, there's 2 Englishmen involved and we haven't mentioned Harry Kane yet. 13 goals in the Champions League this season. We're going to be having a Ballon d'Or conversation a little later after Michael Owen was on talkSPORT earlier today, but talk to us about his influence, what we saw in that game, and just the season he's having, because I sometimes think that English football fans, I still think Harry Kane is massively underrated by a lot of English football fans. I think if they watched Bundesliga week in, week out, if they watched his performances in the Champions League week in, week out, I think he'd be so excited about going into the World Cup with the best number 9 in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'm a Spurs fan, so I've seen all of it from day one to now. I think this is the most influential Kane has ever been at any point in his career. His influence on this Bayern team is practically total. Everybody knows about his goal scoring. Everybody knows about his playmaking. England fans have been debating and arguing about his tendency to drop deep into games for as long as I can remember. This season, I think we've taken that a stage further. You'll see him receive possession between the centre halves at times, begin moves, contribute defensively throughout a game. So, like, in terms of the Ballon d'Or, I think the way to look at awards like that is you need a lot of stars to align, right? You need to be lucky. You need to be in the right team. You need to have the right moments. Increasingly, I think it's a moments award, and then you need to benefit from what happens in the World Cup. But I think also, I mean, don't sleep on Michael Olise. If Michael Olise, if Bayern were to get through this game, to win the Champions League, and Olise was to have a profound effect on whatever France are able to do this summer, Olise is right in that conversation, because I don't want to necessarily say he's the best player in his position in the world at the moment. I don't think there's anybody better. I think that's the fairest way of putting it. And he has been absolutely tremendous. Luis Diaz too. So let's see. That conversation needs to wait until after today, though, until after this evening, because I think increasingly it's almost become like a bonus award for winning the Champions League, right, for an individual player. It certainly was with Ousmane Dembele, whose run to the award was based on what PSG were able to do last season. But let's see. I mean, I'd love to see it happen, because I think Kane is very deserving for his effect on the pitch, for his ability to grow into this role. When he moved to Germany, we all remember people portraying this as a soft option, as, hey, come and collect some trophies and then go back to England and then go and pursue the Premier League's all-time goal-scoring record. In reality, he's come here, he's been a leader, he's been a talisman, he's been a tremendous example for some of the younger players coming through at the club, people like Leonard Carl, Tom Bischoff, guys like that. And that will continue to be the case. He's also got better individually, which, if you think about like the idea of a player in his 30s, whose legacy is kind of secure, right? Beyond what he's able to do internationally, like Harry Kane as a player, that's an inarguable quality to him. He's added the trophies, but he's also shown different layers to his football. That really speaks to the professional, right? And what better person to receive an award like the Ballon d'Or? What better message to send?
And look, nobody triggered that release clause in January. Like, it was likely he's going to be staying for next season, but he's getting so good even in his 30s, like you say. Like, at some point, there's a chance he does come back to the Premier League, breaks the Premier League goal scoring record. Like you say, I think it is already absolutely set in stone how brilliant he is. But to add a Champions League to that, and then to potentially add an individual award like that, would be, I just think, elevated to the most unreal heights. And by the way, you're a Tottenham fan. I'm a Reading fan, so I've seen Michael Olise from the beginning. He showed that when he was 16. I never thought he was going to be this guy. Like, he might have been the best 16-year-old we've ever seen in League One, but what he is now is just something completely different.
I think what's interesting with Olise is when he appeared at Bayern, not a lot of people in Germany knew very much about him, because Crystal Palace they're not really covered in the mainstream media in Germany in the same way that, like, for instance, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool were, or teams like that. And he arrived and he gave quite an awkward press conference. You're a Reading fan, you know this. He's quite a reserved, private person.
He's not a talker.
But he's his own guy, and he's private. And I think the takeaway for a lot of Germans was, hey, maybe the spotlight for him is a little bright, because this is a very big club. No disrespect to Crystal Palace, but there is a big difference between playing for Crystal Palace and playing for Bayern Munich. And what you've seen, and a really big difference between playing for Reading and Bayern Munich, just in case anyone was worried about that. I was leaving that unsaid, but absolutely, yes. Big difference between Majeski Stadium and Allianz Arena. But like, I think it speaks to the talent of the player, of course, because he has grown almost month by month since he's been here. But also to deal with it on a personal level. A lot of good players have come through here. A lot of players with a lot of talent have come to Bayern and not made it, or not progressed, not made the impact that Michael Olise has, just because they're not able to cope with what can at times be pretty unsparing criticism. It's not good enough to win at Bayern. You have to win in a certain way. I remember talking to Mario Gomez a few years ago about what it's like to be, this is about Kane, but what it was like to be Bayern centre forward. And he's like, well, it's the only club I've been to where you can score 3 times in a game and someone can ask you why you didn't score 4. And I think, kind of extrapolated out, that's the level of judgment that Michael Olise has been exposed to, and he's succeeded. And that is great testament to his abilities as a footballer, but who he is as a human being too, because not everybody can cope with that.
He's been fantastic. Harry Kane has been fantastic. And we'll see Vincent Kompany back on the touchline after he was suspended for the first leg. And I had a lot of questions when Vincent Kompany took the gig, because obviously he took over, left a relegated Burnley side when he did arrive at Bayern Munich. And it was a huge role to fill.
It was a hell of a swing. as much as he is a legend, as much as he, had won everything at Man City, to take a swing on a guy who was very impressive with Burnley in the Championship, but didn't keep him in the Premier League. Like, for a club like Bayern Munich, you just talked about the pressure there. Unbelievable. We were at that Union Berlin game earlier this year, and that was one of the first chances I've ever had to really interact with him and had a brief word with him and see how he was now as a manager. And I would have run through brick walls for him, and I've got no relationship to the club whatsoever. I think he's been incredible.
Absolutely, can't argue that at all. When Bayern appointed him, I think, yes, I don't think there's any point in arguing that it was a risk. But the club hierarchy were absolutely convinced from day one. Uli Hoeneß tells a story about meeting him in a Munich bistro for the first time, and he says his version of that was that he was convinced within 20 minutes of meeting him. Vincent Kompany turned up with his dad. He didn't bring an agent or anything. They just sat down for dinner, and he was so impressed by the way he communicated. And this was the big objective. Bayern wanted someone who could communicate. They also wanted someone who could restore the power in their dressing room. So even, I think if you go back from the end of the Pep Guardiola reign, ever since then, even during Hansi Flick's time, when the club won, of course, when they won a treble, there have been fractures, and there's been dissent, and there's been different agendas in the dressing room, and people want different things, and some people who are happy with the coaching, and some people who are not. And when people are not happy in Munich, you tend to hear about it, you tend to read about it on the front pages of Bild, right, or the rest of the national media. There's been none of that, and I think to keep everyone on the same page, and think of the egos and the personalities in that team, there have been times in Bayern's history when it's been more challenging, but Kompany hasn't really put a foot wrong. Like, even juggling things like the end of Leon Goretzka's time at Bayern and the will he won't he saga of his contract situation, dealing with the sort of the end of Manuel Neuer's career, and he seems likely to sign a new contract extension, but his succession is being planned. That's an enormously delicate thing to be doing around someone like Kane. The Thomas Müller situation last season, when Müller very publicly said he wanted to stay at the club, and the club didn't agree. They didn't want to extend his contract. And these are things which concern other people in the club, potentially more than Vincent Kompany. But those are things which he has to front up to, and he has to answer questions relating to in the media. And we've seen some very, very good coaches, Tuchel, Nagelsmann, guys like that, Niko Kovac before. They've had difficulty with everything that comes with being a Bayern Munich head coach. And that's not just about the tactics and the team selection and the football. It relates to the politics and the kind of the microclimate here. And Kompany, incredibly impressive. I can't speak highly enough of him.
Should be a fantastic tactical matchup once again between Luis Enrique and Vincent Kompany. Seb, we're going to be tracking your XG now. So hopefully you deliver. But we appreciate you for coming on here on the S Word and joining us right before what should be an epic second leg.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate it. We'll get the French side of things a little bit later on as well with PSG, talking to Eric Bielderman. And very good. We'll get that kind of side of things as well. It's interesting, Seb said, we'd need to wait till after today to have that conversation, because we're going to be having that conversation up next about Harry Kane. What does he need to do to win the Ballon d'Or? Michael Owen was excellent on Breakfast this morning, also talking about the situation at Liverpool as well. So, look, we're going to have that coming up on the show. And we're going to have a very special guest should be joining us in the studio in the second hour as well. So stick with us on the S Word via YouTube, or get in touch with us on all those things you're seeing on the side of the screen right now, on Instagram, on X, on YouTube as well. We'd love to hear from you. It's the S Word.
You got it right this time.
Yeah. Come on. I'm learning. We're getting there. It's getting good. Stick around. We've got loads more to come.
Big name reaction from both sides of the pond. The S Word from talkSPORT. talkSPORT presents the S Word. Get your full-on football fix from across the football galaxy. The S Word from talkSPORT.
It's just becoming a bit at this point. I'm getting less and less prepared as each section starts. I didn't even have my headphones plugged in that time. I was just chatting to the guys in the gallery. We're having a good time. Not that me and Master don't, ever talk. We just sit here in silence between the segments.
I'm still celebrating. I mean,
yeah. Oh my God. You don't want to see what's under the desk. That's what the real concern is. Don't worry, nothing sordid. Don't be like that about it. You are watching the S Word from talkSPORT. We're on the S Word YouTube channel. We're also at S Word, talkSPORT S Word on Instagram, on Twitter as well. Go give us a follow, give us a like, a subscribe, all that good stuff. We'd love to see you there, and we'd love to hear from you in the chat. And drop us a DM. And hey, if you drop us a DM and you want to get on the show, you want to come on as a caller, we will happily do that as well. We'd love to hear from the fans on both sides of the pond, particularly our brethren in North America. But let's turn our attention to a star-studded morning this morning on the talkSPORT network. Shabana Hearn and Gabby O'Bonahor, they were down at Michael Owen's yard. He is the horse racing king, right? In his post-career maneuver, and he trains the horses for Alex Ferguson and for all these other great current players, and also just one of 4 Englishmen ever to win a Ballon d'Or: Sir Stanley Matthew, Bobby Charlton, Kevin Keegan, and Michael Owen. Could we add a 5th this year? It was interesting. They asked Owen his thoughts about the Ballon d'Or and what it meant to him in his career this morning on Breakfast.
There's only been 4 English players that have won it. Two are still with us. Obviously, Kevin Keegan and myself, and Sir Stanley Matthews, Sir Bobby Charlton are the other 2. So it is quite a rarity, and hopefully we might have a contender this season. If Harry Kane and Bayern Munich go and win the Champions League and England have a decent World Cup, then who knows? It means more now than it did then. Yeah. I'd like to think you back me up. When you do something good, when you win something, it's only good for 3 or 4 days. You've then got another game, and someone else is testing you about this or challenging you about this, or can you win a league? Can you win this? Can you win the Ballon d'Or again? Can you win the Golden Boot? It's just a hamster wheel. You constantly got something else to do or something else. Now I can sit at home all I like and watch that little golden thing spinning around, and I can do that for hours on end if I choose to. I can take it in. I can appreciate it. When I was growing up, it was, I wouldn't say it to everyone. I'd say to my dad, "I'm going to be the best player in the world one day."
There you go. I'm going to be the best player in the world one day. And actually, some good advice for the Arsenal fans sat alongside me. Just remember that there's another game in 3 or 4 days, and maybe not to linger on the events of a single occasion.
I was stuck on the idea that he had more belief in Bayern Munich winning the Champions League than he did England winning the World Cup.
Does he mean that now, or just in?
Chance of doing something.
I mean, I believe that Bayern Munich are going to win the Champions League. So we did. Ryan did get in the chat, by the way, saying, "Oh, celebration police getting on the case early today." Yeah, already getting stick for that. Listen. It's an interesting conversation. And Michael Owen, I think sometimes we do forget just how phenomenal of a player he was. There was so much talk about his turn of pace, but there was a fascinating section also in the interview this morning where him and Gabby were talking about who was the quicker between the 2 of them. And he's like, Gabby's like, it's obviously Michael. And Michael Owen's like, if we had to have a 100-metre race, you beat me over that 10 times out of 10. And he's like, but so would Thierry Henry. And he listed off this whole bunch of players. He's like, what I liked to believe is during my career, it's that short order speed. It's that when you're in football and it's making the quick decisions, being able to turn in the grass quickly. And he was just so unreal at that. And I think we underrate how important it was to him and to English football to have a Ballon d'Or winner in that England side. But it might happen again. It genuinely might happen again. I'm really feeling that Harry Kane may elevate. If he scores in this second leg, he is going to be pushing Robert Lewandowski's all-time Champions League goal-scoring record.
I mean, he might as well chalked it up. There was 9 goals in the first.
Yeah. If he scores a hat-trick, then he breaks the record immediately. And if they go to the final and then he scores the winning goal against Arsenal, I mean, what a joy for a Tottenham boy.
That's what it is.
What do you make of Kane's possible Ballon d'Or?
I mean, he's got a shot. I think Seb said it best when he said Tim and Elise are 2 deserving candidates of the Ballon d'Or. And what I've enjoyed about Harry Kane, particularly this season, is we talk about these box-to-box midfielders, and there's been a huge obsession of those, the space-eating midfielders over the last couple of years. Harry Kane's a box-to-box striker, and that at 32 years old. And you talk about with Michael Owen in terms of the pace and all that stuff. It's not like Harry Kane is going to, blow past a lot of these like speedsters that exist in European football. But
I think he's got underrated pace though. You talk about the box to box, like so sneaky. He has got that classic slot receiver sneaky speed. Like he is a guy who will win a header from a corner, 100%. Play the ball out, play a crossfield pass to a winger. Obviously it used to be Son back in the day. Now it could be Diaz, it could be Elise, it could be, and then he's the guy getting on the end of it, on the other end. And he runs funny and he trundles and he looks like he's almost speed walking, but like he covers ground.
100%. He covers ground. And that's the beauty of him, is that he can make a defensive stop, make the key pass to start a counter, and he could be on the receiving end of finishing that counterattack. It's been beautiful to watch what he's been able to do at Bayern Munich alongside with Luis Diaz and Michael Olise, and scoring 100 goals as quickly as they did, shattering Bundesliga records. He absolutely is deserving of being in the conversation and being among the 2-3 names potentially in that conversation. And if I had to talk about who deserves to be in that, Olise and Kane are ahead of anyone on Arsenal's roster. I can be very honest about that.
Sorry, hold on. What's the opposite of this button? He just admitted that somebody is better than something at Arsenal. This is astonishing. Hallelujah! Is what we need in that situation. Look, 54 goals, 7 assists across 47 appearances.
It's been
tremendous. Elise Diaz, between the three of them, 100 goals this season. Alan Shearer compared Elise Diaz and Kane to MSN yesterday. And, okay, between 2014 and 2017, they scored 364 goals and won 9 trophies. Like, they were as dominant as a front three as we've ever seen in European football, and certainly over the last 2-3 decades. But the level these guys are playing at, and if they go and win a Champions League final, is that a fair comparison?
I think in terms of the modern day version of that, I think you need the trophies. Absolutely you do. But the way that they're playing, the style in which they're playing, how difficult it is to stop them week in and week out. Absolutely. I think Luis Diaz has been a force of nature. We saw from that beautiful goal that he scored in the first leg. He's been unlocked to another level there, and the consistency that we've seen at Bayern Munich that sometimes were in question at Liverpool. Olise obviously is taking it to another level, and Harry Kane has been, the conductor of all of that, making sure that those guys are getting involved, seeing a 9 that can help establish and feed off of his wingers in that kind of manner. It's such a joy and beauty to watch. That it's beautiful football. It's beautiful football to see, even if they can't stop anybody defensively. But the attacking front, those three, absolutely. We'll see what time tell. And the other part you have to consider is how much longer can Harry Kane do it at this level is the other question. I know with Neymar, there were some injuries, but 2017 maybe deserved potentially winning Ballon d'Or there, carrying Barcelona.
Look, for me, Harry Kane is been the best player in the world this year on, for me, the best team in Europe as well. And that should be enough to win a Ballon d'Or, right? But it has become a secondary trophy for winning major titles, right? And you look at what's happened in recent years. You go back to Rodri in 2024. You go back to
the robbery,
the Rodri robbery. You go back to 2023 when Haaland should have won it.
Also,
so often now it's Rodri, you win a continental tournament, you win domestic titles, and you're also one of the best, if not the best player on that team, and that's what they seem to be giving it for. And so I do feel like if Kane wins the Champions League, I'm not saying he has to then go and win the World Cup. Win the Champions League, score 5 or 6 goals at the World Cup, that's probably enough to do it. And then France go and win the World Cup and Michael Olise scores in the final, then suddenly you're giving it to Olise, and it's not about the whole season. It's about what you did in the finals and what you did in the Champions. For me, that's been a knock on the Ballon d'Or, and I do think it's become diminished over the last 10-15 years. I do think that Messi and Ronaldo having a complete duopoly over it, going back to kind of 2010, 2011.
That was peak Ballon d'Or. Man, that's what Michael Owen was talking about in terms of it growing in prominence. It was because of Messi and Ronaldo. Those two guys.
But it became a point where it was just where it became the Messi or Ronaldo award. You talked about it being a robbery in 2024. Neymar, you mentioned in 2017 should have won it instead of Ronaldo. I thought Neymar could have won it in 2015, Suarez as well. How Andres Iniesta in all of that time in that Barcelona team, but particularly when you think about 2011, 2012, those seasons, he should have won it there. Wesley Sneijder, even, when Inter won the treble, could have won the Ballon d'Or in 2010. And every year, and I mean, Robert Lewandowski, how he hasn't got a Ballon d'Or. He should have won it in 2020. They cancelled it. That's rough on him. Yeah. But he also should have, at least could have, won it in 2021 as well. And it just became like a reason to have more of an argument about Messi versus Ronaldo instead of, actually, here's the best player in the world, here's the person who's had the most impact, give it to them. And that's why I've got frustrated with it. And actually, in the last few years, as much as I didn't like the Rodri one, as much as I thought Haaland should have won it in 2023, I've at least liked that we've seen difference. At least like we've seen something like
Messi won again off of a World Cup when Erling Haaland delivered for City a treble. He delivered record amount of goals.
And as we know, if you've never won a Champions League before, it's a huge deal to finally win one.
Like, how was that?
Sadly, you're not going to know on May 31st, but just saying, it is a huge deal.
May 31st is the parade. You'll be there in North London. See, I see you already got booked down.
Oh, you mean your Premier League parade when you've won that, but not the Champions League? I get that.
Maybe the treble.
I get that.
But it's for me, the Messi-Ronaldo debate topic in Ballon d'Or I agree with Michael Owen. It took it to another level, and it elevated the trophy in terms of its prestige. And we have.
But didn't it elevate it initially, and then it became almost like a meme that it had just gone on and on and on when there were other people who were deserving?
That was the level that they were playing every single season, and that level of consistency.
It became a career award, though. It didn't become a season award.
Would you rather have
it's
that?
It's the best player in the year in the world this year.
Would you rather have that, or what Americans do with the NBA MVP, where clearly LeBron James should have deserved more NBA MVPs, but then you give it to other folks? Kobe Bryant probably deserved more MVPs, but you give it to Steve Nash and other guys. When you look back at those seasons, you're like, wait, why didn't LeBron James
NFL, it's coach of the year. It's absolutely ridiculous that Bill Belichick or Andy Reid hasn't won 12 of the last 15 of those awards.
But make sure, for history's sake, that you're validating the fact that these guys were unbelievable. It doesn't matter how many times it happens. Being the model of consistency for an entire era, for an entire decade. As much as I enjoy a lot of these players in the world right now, we're never going to see Messi and Ronaldo again. And it also brings more significance that Luka Modric was able to break through and win a Ballon d'Or.
And so deserving. He
absolutely deserving.
Unbelievable that season.
But once Messi won it for that World Cup over Haaland, I thought that was ridiculous. I think people were still being stuck in nostalgia. Messi winning the World Cup and completely ignoring the body of work that Haaland had that whole entire year. And then when they chose to give it to Rodri over Vinicius Jr. These same people, by the way, who are also complaining about
Vinicius Jr. should have won it.
Vinicius Jr. should have won it. But it's the same people that I'm hearing and talking about how they hate defensive football and, they'd rather prefer a 5-4 game between PSG and Bayern Munich. Those are probably the same people that took Rodri over Vinicius Jr. because they said, hey, defensive players deserve some sort of precedence in terms of winning the Ballon d'Or.
Oh, yeah, Liverpool fans are going to get annoyed if I don't mention Virgil van Dijk 2019 probably should have won it as well. But
it's an absolute disgrace.
Thank you, Mikhail. Thank you for always having my back.
Just one last thing. Gabriel Bonahor on the show this morning did say that he felt that Harry Kane, for his career, winning a Ballon d'Or would be more important than winning a World Cup, would have more impact on his legacy. That actually, as a striker, the more selfish of the positions in theory in world football is a number 9, but that's never been Harry Kane. One of the hardest working, tracking, backing, holding ball up, old school number 9s we've got. He thinks that, actually secretly he'd rather win a Ballon d'Or. I think that's madness. I think, if Harry Kane led England to a World Cup 60 years after the 66, the impact of him... you see Mount Rushmore behind me, which has the ridiculous version of Harry Kane on it. You see that image. I mean, he looks more like a Nordic god than actual Harry Kane. I think it actually makes him looking better than he is. We'd actually put him on a real mountain. If that... we'd build our own Mount Rushmore in the UK that would be Declan Rice, Harry Kane, I don't know, I'm trying to think who I want to put on there. Let's put Mark Gay on there just to be kind to him. I don't want to put Bukayo
Come
Saka
on.
I'd already done
Come
Declan
on.
Rice.
Come on.
No, I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it.
So
Morgan Gibbs White.
What? With the scar now?
Yeah. I mean, it would be cool, right? That is going to be the most impact it could happen to anyone's career as an English player. They would be lauded for the rest of their lives. I think it's madness to think that it's comparable to a Ballon d'Or.
We will see, but there's one that probably is a bit more realistic than the other. I don't think it's the World Cup.
Brutal. You are watching the S Word from talkSPORT. Get involved on the chat. I see you there. Let us know your thoughts on everything we're talking about today. Coming up, we're going to hear from Emmanuel Adebayor as we talk more about that City Arsenal title race. And we will get a special guest join us in the studio.
From the touchline to the terraces, talkSPORT presents the S Word.
S Word,
featuring Will Gavin and Master Tess Fassian.
and a squad of big-name contributors
The S Word.
from talkSPORT.
Doing my best. Mikel Arteta dad dancing. Yes, we are continuing. Have you won it yet? Have you won the Champions League yet? Has that happened?
We're on our way.
Oh, I thought you'd already
on our
won it.
way.
Sorry, apologies.
To Budapest.
You are watching the S
on our
Word
way.
either on the S Word YouTube channel or talkSPORT. Don't forget you can get in touch with the show. Am I going to point the right way this time? Yes, I am. talkSPORT at talkSPORT S Word on
Make sure
Instagram.
you do
You know,
too.
it's
I
like
wanna
when you've
make
got
sure
like.
I encourage you.
Has anyone ever tried to like cut their own hair in the mirror, or like when you've like first start shaving and it's like you've got to figure out like. Left is right and right is left. It's very confusing. That's what I'm feeling like looking at myself on a screen. I'm sorry. The talkSPORT S Word. I'm not looking at the wrong camera. This is all over the shop.
What a tune.
At talkSPORT S Word on Insta, on X, and on the YouTube channel. Coming up, special guest is going to join us in the studio. Am I allowed to say who it is? Do we know if he's coming yet? That's the big question. I'm asking the other side of the glass. They're not giving me. They're not letting me know. And the former chief football writer at L'Equipe, Eric Bielderman, will join us to give us the PSG side of that massive clash tonight, live on talkSPORT. PSG against Bayern Munich. I am so hyped for the second. Is there any worry that it's not going to live up to to expectations because of how good the first game was and because of how hyped we are about this game?
I mean, how would it not live up to expectations? What would it take for it not to
well, there were some, like, I mean, there will be casual fans who are like, if there's less than 5 goals, they're going to be disappointed. But I don't think that's going to happen.
That's ridiculous. 5 goals is... Come on, guys.
What's
wrong with a nice 1-0 game? What's wrong with a nice little 1-0? You know what I'm saying? Nice little.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Cagey affair. You know,
you got used to that style of football in North London over the last few seasons. Sorry, I forgot that.
Nice 90 minutes where you see 1 goal. What's the problem? What is the issue with that?
I love defensive football as much as the next guy, or defensive football for our American brethren. Come on, man.
Come on.
We're all hyped for this to be free-flowing, attacking, like just the best attackers in the world going at each other for 90 minutes. Who knows? Maybe even 120 minutes. Maybe it's 5-4 again and we get extra time and penalties. Can you imagine?
I would love penalties. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, of course you would. Anything that extends their season a little bit before you've got to face them.
For the last 2 months, so, what's wrong with them getting a couple extra more minutes?
Unbelievable. Right. So, yeah, get in touch with the show. We'd love to hear from you. Back on the Sports Breakfast this morning, however, the guys were joined by former Arsenal City striker Emmanuel Adebayor. I'm not saying that last one. That's ridiculous. Striker Emmanuel Adebayor, who spoke on the infamous City celebration against Arsenal at the Etihad, and had a surprise take on who he actually wants to see win the Premier League this season.
No, I didn't regret because listen, they were giving me a hard time, and obviously then my father already passed away. Getting my parents involved in sorting my parents was something that I can never take slightly. Playing for Arsenal was one of the biggest things that happened in my career, and everybody knows this. I said it out there loud and clear. And for me, to join Arsenal was the biggest achievement in my career, but the way the things end up was a little bit not nasty. If you ask me if I regret, I don't regret. I'm happy also giving them something back, because at the end of the day, if I can't represent and defend my parents, I don't know who will do it for me. So it's kind of doing my job. I think Man City will win it, but I would like Arsenal to win it because it has been over a decade. They have been fighting for that even when I was there. But this year they're doing quite well, and the good thing is that defensively they are very good. But trust me, it's not going to be an easy task for both of them. Let's see who win. But I wish, for the first time, Arsenal wins it, because they have been working towards this for so long time.
Over a decade, 22 years, Emmanuel, 22 years. Would like Arsenal to win it. Think City will win it. We surprised by that?
I mean, he's why is he splitting the baby there? Just go ahead and go with what you like. He talked about a lot of defensive efforts, and he talks about how Arsenal's really good defensively. Top of the table right now. They're gonna do it. And I think deep down inside he's saying that, but he's like a lot of other fans, whether they're fans of Arsenal or not, they're trying to hedge because they keep confusing the past City teams that we've been accustomed to.
I'm treated to you as an Arsenal fan every single day, right? So I get very much the most positive vibes humanly possible. It just, it's the way you are and we love you for it. I miss being up on floor 17 and having all the negative Arsenal fans in my life who would be so pessimistic and be like,
they're quiet right now.
Upstairs, I promise you, as much as they were chirping on the phones on talkSPORT today, as much as they were giving it the large, as much as they were celebrating on the streets last night with fireworks and having the players jump into the crowd and celebrate and whatever else, Mikel Arteta dad dancing his way through a disco, upstairs, I promise you right now, they're going, yeah, it's nice to be there, but we're going to lose the final. And we'll probably lose this weekend as well, and City will overtake us. Like, that's just the British way. We need to be pessimistic. And do you know what? It just means that when it happens, it's so much better.
No, it's not.
Because you were just unexpected.
No, just
what a joy.
Lose yourself in it. Why hold yourself back? Fan is short for fanatic. Be a fan. That is your goal. That is your objective. That is the reason why we do what we do. As fans, be a fan. Be fanatic. Believe in your team. Help them for the next 90 minutes. Bundesliga does that tremendous. Union Berlin has a saying where you should be your voice should be as hoarse and as sore as the players' legs are after 90 minutes. You should give it your all. Why? What is the good in negativity? What is the good in providing pessimism and not expecting your team to give it their best, to give it your all? Yeah, there are going to be moments in which you're disappointed, just like you are in life. It's a good lesson.
It is.
But I'm not going to be disappointed, so it doesn't matter.
As much as it is, I mean, you are, but that's, by the by. You're playing, either way, you're going to play a generational team of attackers, and that's 6 goals conceded in the Champions League. I mean, you might double that on May 30th at this rate.
You're lucky to score 2 goals against Arsenal. If it is, that is an accomplishment.
What about Bournemouth?
I mean, 3 teams I think have scored 3 goals against us in the last 2 years.
One of them is Bournemouth.
So, you know what I'm saying?
And Bayern Munich. I mean, I'm taking Elise, and I'm taking Kane, and I'm taking.
I can assure you,
over anything the Cherries have to offer.
It makes it to the final. They would be lucky to score 2 goals on Arsenal. Lucky.
So we're saying a 2-0 win for Bayern.
No,
Munich,
we're not.
Sorry, a 2-0 win for PSG.
It'll be 2-0 to the Arsenal.
Oh, you don't score 2 goals. That's not the way. That's not the way you do it. It'd be 1-0. It'd be 1-0 at best, and if it was, you deserve to celebrate in the streets. All the fireworks will be deserved. All the parades will be.
Mikel Marino could be available for the Champions League final. So just say we're still getting healthier.
That's the difference, right? That's going to make you the Champions League winning team.
Oh, he has been fantastic for us when he's been healthy, and we missed him. Clearly, we've missed him.
Let's hear from one of those chirpy Arsenal fans. I mean, not that I need more of them in my life. Yeah, quite. The whole morning on breakfast this morning, Arsenal callers, and last night on the sports bar, to be honest, as well, was just an absolute tirade of Arsenal fans wanting to basically rewrite history, wanting to be revisionist about it, wanting to pretend like this is a European juggernaut and we should give them more respect, not a team who've reached 2 finals in 20 years. However, it got a little too much for Shabana Hearn, because as much as it's easy enough to bat these people away and have some fun with them and let them enjoy their moment, it all got a little bit too much for Shabana Hearn with one Arsenal fan this morning on breakfast.
So yes, they are going to celebrate, and I'm pretty certain that Abongla No Clue sitting next to you, when Aston Villa beat Arsenal in the league, he celebrated the next day, nearly all day on the radio. They didn't win anything. They were going to win the league. They were going to win the league. They beat Arsenal. What did they win?
We didn't have fireworks after the game.
The difference is...
We didn't have a concert.
You haven't had fireworks at any of your games because you've never challenged for proper honours. You played a mediocre player in a mid-table team. So I'd rather listen to people like Michael Owen.
That's not nice, Alan.
Jamie Carragher.
Come on, you're better than that.
Wow. But
you're better than that, Alan.
So I know I'm better than that.
Oh, we only heard the Gabby Bonhor thing. I thought we were going to hear Shaban losing her absolute marbles. Oh, right. Let's do that. I want to hear Shaban, because that's how they started it. And I mean, going at Gabby was amazing, but see what you do to Arsenal fans.
No, see what y'all do to us. We are not the we're not the perpetrators here. We are the victims. We've had to deal with this kind of jargon and talk, from whether it's pundits here on talkSPORT, whether it's your friends, whether it's former players. Everyone is so quick and so immediate to try and trash Arsenal. But you have to save everything in the drafts right now. There's nothing you could say. And we're going to talk. We're going to stick our chest out. Why? Because that has been a run in the Champions League worthy of sticking your chest out. And currently, we're on top of the table right now. And we deserve to stick our chest out.
Big fish, small pond. That's what I'm hearing.
Big fish, big pond.
I'm hearing that you are
big dogs. That's what we are.
You're going into the big pond now. That's the problem. You're heading into the big pond in 2 weeks' time, and there is a shark coming your way. And I don't care if it's PSG or Bayern. They're coming after your big fish, and they're going to take you down.
They not no dogs. They don't be barking. Arr, arr. We the big dogs.
We are going to hear, we've not got the video, but let's just hear Shabana Hearn go. This is amazing. I want to see, put this man on full screen as he hears Shaban react to this caller, just accusing talkSPORT of anti-Arsenal bias. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Don't you worry about it. We'll get there. We'll just clip it out later. It's fine.
I mean, I didn't see any bottles around here, did I, today?
I'm going to go get the big one from upstairs ready for the 30th, because there is the massive one upstairs. Don't you worry.
Did you like the green room chat we had this morning?
It's coming. It's coming. Don't you worry, sir. Can we hear from Michael Owen instead then? Is that's not going down? Let's hear from Michael Owen, because let's talk a little bit of Liverpool while we've got a few moments here. Not necessarily the topic of current conversation, because they're not playing a lot of midweek football at the moment, not being in Europe's biggest stages. You're allowed to laud that. That's okay. You can go after them for that, even though, they've already won it multiple times.
Who is this club?
I mean, only Real Madrid have won it more times, I believe, than Liverpool. And you've won it how many times? But he was excellent this morning on breakfast and had a fascinating shout for who he'd love to see Liverpool go after in the summer.
I've said that to a couple of my mates the other day. I said, if I had one player, now obviously Jarrod Bowen's a legend of a player. West Ham, adore the man, and rightly so. But if West Ham went down, he would fit for me. Yeah. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I was lucky enough to do a striking masterclass for a TV show we did last season with him, and I couldn't believe it. Honestly, left foot, right foot, bang, 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 corners, pace. I mean, a real top finisher. I think he's a brilliant player. I'd be taking him to the World Cup. And as I say, I don't want to upset West Ham fans, but if they went down, then he would be my idea of somebody to replace Salah.
Makes sense.
There you go.
There you go. And he was excellent this morning on Liverpool, Owen. He not only talked about replacing Mohamed Salah, he talked about the left-back situation. Kirk is clearly not trusted. Andy Robertson, being trotted out in the big games at Old Trafford, etc., despite the fact that he's off in the summer. He said that they pensioned him off too early. But he also doesn't think they're going to have to make huge changes this summer. He's basically saying one huge change, which is trying to replace Mo Salah because you don't have anything else on the right-hand side. But actually, he's very positive about the team beyond that. What do you make of Jarrod Bowen in a Liverpool shirt, possibly next season, elevating that?
I think it'd be a tremendous fit. I'm a huge Jarrod Bowen fan. I think how he's able to create in different, he's had different managers with different styles and still been able to produce and be productive. And what he's contributed at West Ham, particularly this season, unfortunately, it hasn't been a great season for West Ham, but it could have been much, much worse if you don't have a player like Jarrod Bowen. He can be a difference maker for Liverpool, thinking about how he can play together and play well with someone like Isak if you put him in the middle whenever Ekitike does come back from the unfortunate Achilles injury. I think Bowen would be a great fit. But the question with Liverpool is, what do you do with their back line? As you mentioned with Kirkes, he has been incredibly inconsistent, very disappointing. I thought he was going to be much better at Liverpool. Van
Dijk's not getting any younger.
Van Dijk's not getting any younger. Konate, more than likely coming back, but he has his lapses as well. And then at right back, Jeremy Frimpong, is he a right winger? Is he a right back? Where do you best fit him? He's a very energetic, talented player. Seems like a great energy in the clubhouse, in the locker room. But where's his best position here? When he's with the Netherlands, you see him a lot more at right wing. Mm-hmm. When he was at Leverkusen, you saw him a lot at right back. So that's the problem, that if it's Arne Slot, or, I think they should stick with Arne Slot, but if they move on from him, you have to solve that too, because these are two big summer additions that you had in that back line, and it's unclear to know how these two will fit in. But once you do that, then the rest of the pieces can start putting themselves together.
I really believe that Liverpool are being healthy away from contending for the title. I really think it. I mean, and
I thought they were going to win it. As much as I'm an optimistic Arsenal fan, I had picked preseason wise. I picked Liverpool to win. I thought they had a great roster, but it just has not come together for many reasons.
Achilles is as rough as it comes, right, for that position. We're in an era where an ACL tear is, yes, it's a lengthy injury, but essentially the repairs are at such a level now that you can come back and just be the same guy from basically moment one when you get on the field. If Ekitike can come back and show what he began to show in a Liverpool shirt before that injury, that's super exciting to me. Isak, I mean, yes, it has been a tough year for him. Yes, he's had the injuries as well, the form issues. I worry about him coming back and then going to a World Cup in the summer, and then, he came back, gets a muscle problem. And this is so often the case when you have a serious injury. You come back and you're not match fit, you're not ready to go. They had to force him into the lineup. I just have concern that he almost needs a summer off. He almost needs, could have really done with them not somehow qualifying out. We all thought, we looked at it on paper and went, yeah, okay, it'll have been bad on the world stage, but they'll get out of that group. Nope. The fact that he's now going to go and play in the hottest World Cup ever, probably 5 or 6 games, I'm not sure that's great for him, but from a Liverpool perspective, I really, really think if they come into next season healthy, they don't need a huge amount to compete for the title.
I think Florian Wirtz will be better. You see Szoboszlai, that midfield, they've got a lot of players that I think are quality. Getting another year for Florian Wirtz to get more experience in terms of the Premier League, maybe putting some more, gaining a bit more weight or strength, some muscle for the physicality of the Premier League, I think would do him wonders. I think he's going to be a world class. He already is one of the bright players in the world right now, and one of the exciting young talents that I love looking forward to watching, not just in the Premier League but also globally, internationally with Germany. I think he's going to continue to get better. I loved what he did at Leverkusen. So with him there, an Isak, Ekitike, Jared Bowen, all of a sudden, and you've got Soboslai who can do a lot of the dirty work, McAllister. Yeah, I think a Bowen and 2 or 3 other defenders, and they'd be in a good spot. The question is, what
we're saying is if Arsenal don't win it this season, then they're in trouble next year.
Arsenal, you better hope and pray that Arsenal don't win it this year, because if they do, they could go on a run and win the next 3 years. They
3 years
for the next 3
with
years.
Man City retooling, with Liverpool getting healthy.
What other team?
Man United now. Man United have taken such a step forward in the last 6 months.
Man United need to walk before they crawl, because they did not play in Europe this year, and that is going to be a completely different challenge for them. Playing an additional 10 to 14 matches in that season, playing midweek and also playing in the weekend. And roster from a talent perspective,
Arsenal
they're not prepared for that. They're not.
Arsenal aren't. I'm not sure Arsenal are prepared to be at the top of the mountain either. To be the king that everyone's coming for. I don't think Arsenal we're not there yet. Trust me, we are not there yet.
You never know until you're on top of the mountain. I'm not saying they're there yet, but I'm saying I see the peak of Everest from where we're at right now. And the view looks beautiful.
You're still at base camp, brother. And you've got a hell of a climb ahead of you over the next 4 weeks. You are watching the S Word from talkSPORT. Check us out on talkSPORT S Word YouTube channel. And, of course, across all of our socials at talkSPORT S Word on Instagram, on X, etc. as well. Clips going up there. Bits of the show. If you missed our debate earlier at the top of the show, it was a fun one and it's going up shortly. So go and check it out once we're finished here. At 10 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock here in the UK with the S Word.
The S Word with Will Gavin and Master Tesfacion from talkSPORT.
talkSPORT presents the S Word. High energy exchanges, fiery fan reactions, and the biggest football debate.
The S Word
from talkSPORT.
You're back with the S Word on talkSPORT. I'm Will Gavin, Master Tez Fatsin alongside me. How you going, Master?
Lovely.
How are you doing at this point in the show? Like, flagging at all? Late night last night?
I'm watching Mikel Arteta videos of him dancing. It's just giving me joy. It might as well be
of course you are. Of course you are. Like, this is, people might think that, we sit here and we chat during this. It's just on basically Arsenal TikTok, just scrolling through and just smiling to himself and just patting himself on the back.
Like, should I go to Budapest? But they're talking about the parade's going to be the 31st, the day after? Or do I stay in North London? It's a very difficult decision I'll have to figure out after the show.
Tell us about the scenes after the games. We've talked a lot about what was happening inside, and I've been accused in the the chat of being the celebration police. You certainly said that to me on air. I've been accused of mislabeling the Cup Winners' Cup. Somebody claimed it was the second tier competition when the UEFA Cup was the third tier. I think that is misremembering what that time was like. The Cup Winners' Cup was a proper competition, but
we'll put this to bed finally May 30th. It's all good.
Yeah, like all of that. The stuff I loved was the after the game, after you left the ground, and it's the scenes out on the, like, paint a picture for me of what that atmosphere, that mood was like, what you saw on the streets.
I didn't want to leave the stadium. It was great first seeing the players celebrating, enjoying, soaking up the moment, the fireworks.
Yeah, right.
It was beautiful, free from desire. And as soon as I walk out...
Because the American loved all of that.
Of course I did. Yeah, why not? We love to celebrate. And then as soon as I walked out onto the concourse and I was waiting on my cousin, I bumped into a kid that happened to be the kid that delivered the match ball on the pitch. And the joy that he had on his face as he's with his father and his mom as well. And they're just like elated that they got to experience history. And their son had a small role, but, a massive role for them to play a part of that, and just being able to share that with him and telling him, like, you'll never forget this day for the rest of your life. That is something that's always going to stick with me. Walking down the stairs and everyone singing and chanting. And then, of course, the drums, as you saw, the flares. My cousin we were trying to figure out what to do at first, because we didn't know if we should go to the pub. Should we go find some food? Should we, go home and beat the traffic because it started raining? And we just stuck around, and so did everyone else.
There is something about, one of my finest memories from being a football fan is surviving relegation from what at the time was Division 1 on a rainy Thursday night against Cardiff at home. Everyone expected us to lose and to stay in the bottom three. We won 3-0. I got absolutely soaked to the skin, and there's something about it, like just being in that British weather, being able to... You talked about that Union Berlin thing, and I do get frustrated sometimes with English football fans that, like, when you are down, it tends to, like, the mood does drop, it does get quiet as a library, all that other stuff that we've accused the Emirates of being previously, of course. Like, there is something about a moment like that where just, like, you're all together. It does not matter what the weather, like, it doesn't matter if it's cold and it's raining and, like, it's miserable. You're just in that moment. It's a real joy.
I was hugging every single person I could find. It was.
I'm kind of offended. When we were doing our photo shoot, I felt like you didn't want to get close to me, and now I see you just hugging randoms all over the place.
You were too close. you were too close, as I say, Dave Chappelle. Too close. I was hugging. I was so joyful and sharing that experience with the people who were sitting next to me and the people all around the grounds, and maybe some nice little banter that was going on with the Atletico fans that probably insulted me in some Spanish word that I don't know and can't say, but but it was all in good fun, and we were there for another good 2 hours. Because people just kept sticking around, and everyone just wanted to be a part of this, and everyone wanted to.
I genuinely thought that it was a case of you didn't have signal, so your videos just kept pinging through. Like,
no, I was sending them in real time. They just kept going.
They just kept coming.
They just kept coming, and it was just great to see, because I have been very critical of the atmosphere, obviously, at Emirates, and going to other grounds all across Europe and seeing these incredible atmospheres and just wishing that the Emirates could have that. And when you tell people that, hey, you're an Arsenal supporter and cousin has season tickets, you go to a lot of matches, they're like, oh, that thing's just a library, and you're like, we can't really defend it. That was one of those days where you could feel proud of the atmosphere, the energy, the post-match celebration, everything that happened from it. I'll never forget that. I will never forget that moment, and I wanted to stay in that moment and be as present as I could for as long as I could, until obviously it was probably about 1 a.m. or whatever the case was, and when we two left. Me and my cousin go home, we order some food, we're catching up on all the post-match analysis, all the interviews. My favorite one, which everyone always likes to talk about how cringy Arsenal is, when Thierry Henry is interviewing Bukayo Saka, and he says, hey, we're known as the Invincibles, but if you guys go out there and do win it and bring Arsenal their first Champions League trophy, you will be described as the Unforgettables. Don't you love that? Oh, we already have a moniker for the. You thought that we were
Thierry, what have you done to us? I love you.
We
I
already.
feel sick
I
to
like-
be part of this.
And I've just gone from loving Thierry Henry to feeling like an Irish football fan towards Thierry Henry, all from that one
How
word.
can you not be so romantic about this beautiful game?
The
Thierry Henry even getting
Unforgettables
into-
is just no, thank
The
you.
Unforgettables. What a name! I can't wait.
Does it compare to any American sporting events you've been to?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, unfortunately, as a Cowboys fan, no. Mavericks, I would say the Dallas Mavericks.
By the way, I have a Cowboys fan who continues to bait me, going, "Yeah, well, we've won a Super Bowl more recently than you have as a 49ers fan." And it's like,
That's not me. That wasn't me.
I mean, you've done that to me as well, but trust me, there are other ones in my mentions. There are other ones worldwide. Cowboys fans all feel the same level of anger and disdain. Like, you have a chance to do a Dallas Cowboys and actually break that duck and actually get beyond all of that nonsense and to finally go, you can't say that to us anymore because we finally have got to this point and we finally have got over the mountaintop. Like, that's why this is so significant.
The only one that there's probably only two that can compare: the Dallas Mavericks 2011, the NBA title they won. I was an intern at ESPN Dallas then, and covered the watch party at the American Airlines Center. They were playing in Miami, and that was just such a cool experience, covering that experience in that environment, and then stepping out of the arena and just hearing nothing but horns honking, people going crazy. The Dallas Morning News handing out front pages of the Mavs winning, and I still have that to this day. That and being at the when the players arrived, covering that as well, and just seeing how insane that was beautiful. More recently, the Texas Rangers, the World Series. I was at all 5 games there for the World Series against the Rangers and the Diamondbacks, which was the team in which I did my first ever sports internship with. So I have great relationships with everyone at both clubs. After the Rangers won the World Series, I got invited by the Rangers to their team hotel in Arizona. And
this guy
just had the time of my life the rest of the night with Bruce Bochy, with the players, with people in the organization I'd still remember.
Any famous people turn up? Any live musical performances? I always like the Super Bowl parties.
They don't do that in baseball. It's only an NFL thing. It's only.
It's also because it's Game 5 and they might go on for 2 more games, right?
Exactly.
You don't know if you're actually going to win it.
No, but I'm there, with Corey Seager and
biggest issue in American sports. Like, a Game 7 is better than almost anything else.
So good.
But I could really do with more things where it's just a one-off. Let's
the national championship provides that, and so does the Super Bowl. But a Champions League final, I've never been to one.
You gonna go to Budapest?
How does the song go again?
I don't know. You're the one been singing it all day, pal.
To Budapest, we're on our way. How do we get there? I don't know. How do we get there? I don't care. All I know is that we're on our way. So I'm still debating if I want to go.
Do I have to? Do I have to do that? Let's see how it sounded last night on talkSPORT.
Breakthrough for Arsenal. Arsenal 1, Atletico Madrid 0. It's their star boy, Bukayo Saka, who has broken the deadlock.
He reacts the fastest and taps it in, and it's a great goal for Arsenal.
England's finest, Arsenal's star boy. There is the full-time whistle. A historic night for Arsenal. For the first time since 2006, the Gunners are Champions League finalists.
Showing everyone they can go about it a different way, they can mix it. People question them when it comes to two-legged football. I thought they were absolutely outstanding this evening. And now it's about, can they go to Budapest and finally cross that white line and bring home the Champions League?
There's heavy criticism of this Arsenal side. The Gunners don't care. These Arsenal fans, they're not going to forget nights like this. Arteta's class of 2026 are 4 games away from immortality.
And look, there they are on your screen, acting like they've already won it.
Oh, that was so good.
Have you won it? Have you won it yet?
We will. Don't worry. We're on our way.
Look, Bukayo Saka is one guy I do want to talk about a little bit because we had this conversation, and let me get to my point here because I'm not making a direct comparison right now. But we talked about Cole Palmer yesterday, right? You think back to the Club World Cup, and Cole Palmer was one of the best players on the planet, sensational in that final, had been elevating Chelsea, a Chelsea team that already was starting to show the cracks that we've seen this season, let's be honest. But he was above everything else. And when Bukayo Saka's at his best, he can be that kind of player. He can be mercurial. He can be sensational. He can just tear teams apart. He can win games almost single-handedly. And I feel like almost out of anyone from that January to 3 weeks ago when you did look nervy, when you were losing games, I know he had the injury in that time as well, but he was a guy who did not live up to what my high expectations I hope are for him. How important is it that the last 2 games he has been absolutely sensational? He's back in the goals, back in the assists. Like, again, as an England fan, I couldn't be happier with the timing. But I think from an Arsenal perspective, with this 4 games that you have to win all of them, just a reminder,
we will.
Like, he's the key.
He is the key, and his presence.
A mother-loving star boy.
He's star man now. He's a grown man. he is a grown man, and he's shown it time and time again. At least
that's Rocket Man, you idiot.
Rocket Man.
He just went to see what Owen John. Like, no, that's Star Man. You need to actually turn your mic on when you say these things so that people can hear the stuff you say on the other side of the glass. Ludicrous.
Our producer Sam, who loves to have some commentary himself, but Thierry has kind of hinted it, but Bukayo hasn't been open about it, at least publicly. What he's been dealing with his Achilles all season long, the injuries, of course, the hamstring injury, the surgery last year as well. It's the amount of minutes that he's been logging for Arsenal, and that was the biggest criticism people were giving Mikel Arteta, was he was running Bukayo Saka to the ground and forcing him to play 90 minutes, and even matches that he did not need to play 90 minutes for, and that was a huge reason why they signed Noni Madueke. Even though he was supposed to be on the left, he has kind of served in that role. To what extent? That
was a huge conversation. You go back over the last couple of years, is that, like, as Arsenal did tail off, as it could be 4 second places in a row, as it felt like it might be when things started to tail off a little bit this season, was that depth was a problem? Was the fact that, like, last season it did feel like those players were flogged into the ground because there just weren't other options?
Yes. But again, when Arsenal's best players are available and when this team is healthy, they are the most complete team in Europe. I don't think that's debatable.
That is astonishing. The most complete team in Europe. They are the most complete team in Europe.
Is healthy. They are the most complete team in Europe. They have the best defense in Europe.
Right, we have some teams right now who are going through absolute turmoil, right? Real Madrid. Barcelona, whilst they're going to win a La Liga title, you saw them in Europe. They have not been up to the level we expect.
No.
Bayern Munich. PSG.
Are they as complete as
Arsenal? If you
are
going to go blow for blow, 11 for 11 with those teams, you think Arsenal are the most complete team in Europe? I think this
1000%.
season,
I don't think
this
it's debatable.
season, you have reached the final, and that is fantastic. I think if you were to give me let's go back to Americans, 7-game series against any of those teams, every player healthy, full health, beginning of the year, anything else out the window. Of the 5 teams I've just named, including Arsenal are 5th in that for me.
People forget, Arsenal have also scored, the 3rd or 4th most goals in Europe in all competitions this year. So you want to talk about how open and free-flowing and total football Bayern Munich and PSG are. When Arsenal is healthy, they can score as well. Maybe not keep up with them, but where they are more complete than these clubs is... You're not going to score more than 2 goals on Arsenal. You're not going to score more than 2 goals on Arsenal.
The most complete team in Europe.
They have everything.
Where's the laughter track? Like, honestly,
when they are healthy, no one is even close to them in Europe.
There it is.
All due respect to Bayern Munich, I said all due respect to PSG, but that's just the fact of the matter. When they are healthy, and hopefully they get Mikel Merino back, and hopefully they get Jurrien Timber back, and if they do. Of course, why would you not feel confident as an Arsenal fan? You were able to weather the storm when you had your bare bones and some of your best and key players weren't available. If you still survived all of that, standing at top of the table,
let's say, do you know what?
With an opportunity for your second ever appearance in a Champions League final, making it back for the first time in 20 years, you weathered the storm over the last couple months this year. I'm losing my voice because I gave it my all last night, and I'm giving them all right now. But if they are healthy for these next 3 or 4 matches, yes, I feel very, very confident.
You win this weekend and somehow Man City fall over, right? So you suddenly have a 2-game window to play with.
I think City will win. They got Brentford this weekend. They'll win.
I'm giving you a hypothetical here.
I'm trying to give you some credit.
So You win this weekend, City drop points again, and we end up in a situation where you don't have to win those last 2 games of the season.
They will, though.
Where suddenly you can go into, and it's all about that Champions League final, and you can get fully healthy, and you can be as ready as humanly possible for either Bayern or PSG, whoever it ends up being tonight. I still don't think you're as complete as either of those teams.
And where is PSG more complete than Arsenal? Where is Bayern Munich more complete than Arsenal? You can get lost in all the goals and the excitement of their free-flowing attacking plays. You can, but they are not the complete team that Arsenal is. I'm sorry. Even Adebayo said it. Defensively speaking, that's what Arsenal brings with them, and that is something that you're not going to.
I think you're crazy. I think there's a certain level. I love your fandom.
More than 2
I love how positive you are. I love how much you love your football
team. Arsenal's not going to concede
but
more than 2 goals in the Champions League final. Like, we can just acknowledge.
And you're not going to score more than 2 goals either. So
1-0 to the Arsenal.
You're hoping for that 2-2 draw. That's what I'm hearing.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
Extra time and penalties would be a massive win for you right now.
If they score 2 goals, I would be shocked.
You're going to lose in 90.
If PSG or Bayern Munich score 2 goals against Arsenal in the Champions League final, I will be stunned, and this will be an embarrassment for what the identity that Mikel Arteta has built for this club over the last couple of years. Straying away from that and something going wrong. I would be stunned. I would be stunned if that happened.
Arsenal might not be the most complete team in Europe, but we have the most complete show on radio, on YouTube today, because we are going to get the PSG side of things. Having done Germany a little bit earlier on, Eric Bielderman joins the S-Word. Up next, we want to hear from you at talkSPORT S-Word across all of the socials. This is the S-Word from talkSPORT.
Bringing all the biggest football debates
stateside.
The S-Word
from talkSPORT.
talkSPORT presents
The S Word.
Listen again and subscribe
Wherever you get your podcasts.
and on the talkSPORT USA YouTube channel.
You're back with the S Word from talkSPORT on the talkSPORT S Word YouTube channel or via talkSPORT as well. We've been having a lot of fun today. Master, as I promise you, it's from last night he's losing that voice, but how's it sounding? How's it feeling?
I just give me to Friday.
Have we got him like a hot honey and lemon? Have we got him like...
Just give me to Friday.
And anything to look after the poor boy?
No. Give me to Friday. All right, shout out Steph. No, he's watching the show right now. He's like, bro, his voice is so hoarse right now. Just give me to Friday.
What's tonight looking like? Because PSG Bayern, I thought like maybe we'd hit a little bar up, we'd go and watch it in a pub, we'd like, you know, get lit and you know, watch some
How do you, kids?
I went full. Yeah. Where's my skateboard? Where's my backwards cap? Dang it! What do the kids say then? I don't know.
Just, you know, what do you say?
Maybe a crunk. Like really throw it back.
Absolutely.
That might actually. It's been so old that it might make its way back round again. Yeah. Maybe we kickstart that thing. I mean, with Kylian Mbappe, we've made that a thing, right? Like we started that on Monday, and by Wednesday we've got a petition that's 11 million strong wanting him out of Real Madrid. So
let me refresh the petition, because right now it is on pace to become the most signed petition in history.
But what's madness is that I want to take you out tonight. I'm like, let's go out for Bayern PSG, and I'm not sure Master will be able to speak. And
I can't speak.
I think that I'm not sure I've ever been in a room with you where you've been silent for more than 10 seconds, 30 seconds.
It's tough. I got a lot of things to say.
And most of them make sense. Arsenal, the most complete team in Europe? I'm not so sure. Tonight, there is a huge game on. As much as last night was wonderful and brilliant for the fans and everything else.
Fantastic.
For real football lovers, for people who just want to enjoy the beautiful game, what better than the second leg of PSG and Bayern Munich?
Here goes Kane, right-footed, and he scores! Of course he scores!
It's just the highest level, we've shown that we win a lot of games. PSG have shown that they win a lot of games and titles. We too.
Elise right through the middle here has rammed it into the net! What a pass to Luis Diaz, brings it down onto the right foot! This is just ridiculous!
At the end, it's still about making sure you score one more goal than any opponent you play against.
Kvaratskhelia shimmying feet and a low shot is brilliant! Ousmane Dembele, chance to make it 5! What a statement performance this is from the European champions. It is set up perfectly for the second leg in Munich.
Beautiful. It is set up absolutely sensationally for the action tonight at the Allianz Arena. We are there with talkSPORT live commentary if you're here in the UK, and I think around the world as well, via the talkSPORT app and the talkSPORT website. But we got the German perspective a little earlier on, so let's turn our attention to the French side of the action. I'm delighted to say the brilliant French football journalist and the former chief football writer at L'Equipe, Eric Bielderman, joins the show now. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing, sir?
My pleasure. Very excited before the tonight's game for sure.
I mean, even with, on paper, what looked like such a sensational semi-final, did that first leg go beyond all expectation for you?
Yeah, no one could have expected such a brilliant game, such a crazy game. Some people say this is the game of the century. I won't go on that because we have short memories in the world of sports, but this is by far the most exciting game that I have seen for a couple of years. I can remember Ajax Amsterdam with Tottenham Hotspurs in the semi-final of Champions League a couple of years ago. That was the same kind of story. But this is the ultimate quality of football. This is Bayern Munich, who is said to be the favorite of this Champions League, versus Paris Saint-Germain, who is said to be maybe the second best team in the world, and that was the very best team in the world last season. So what other dream can we have had just maybe to see such a crazy game tonight, even if I don't believe that we will have 9 goals tonight.
Just imagine if it happened again.
I don't.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think I err with you on the cautionary side, Eric, and I don't think there'll be 9 goals either. But I'm sure from a PSG perspective, though, in the 58th minute, up 5-2 in that first leg at home, and to now go to Munich in a 5-4 situation, how would you feel as a PSG fan or the player or the club, knowing that the gap could have been much bigger in that first leg?
I think straight after the game in the dressing room and the media zone and the day after, there was a bit of disappointment on PSG's side, like if the winners were the losers. But after one day, with Luis Enrique way of thinking, such a positive way of thinking, everyone from the fans' perspective to the media perspective to the dressing room perspective, everybody is very confident that offensive football, whatever you do play home or you do play away, nowadays with Paris Saint-Germain spirit, this is not a major case. We know also that the away goals is not anymore a case of the former rule. So Paris Saint-Germain wants to play offensive. They don't only know to play offensive, but they know that against Bayern Munich they will have to. They know they will have to score goals. So the mood is quite positive at the moment. The expectations are very high.
Because that's what's fascinating to me about tonight in particular, because I think about the last 20 minutes of that game. We talked about from 58th minute being 5-2 up and the mentality of actually Bayern dominated for the first half an hour. Suddenly you find yourself scoring 5 goals, like unbelievable. But they defended so brilliantly in that last 25 minutes or so. I did wonder to myself, is there any world where Luis Enrique turns up in the Allianz and maybe tries to set up a little more cautiously? But you're saying, no, we're going high pressing, we're pressing out there, and, it's a case of if you score 3, we'll score 4.
I think the key point is for Paris Saint-Germain to score the first goal. Because if Paris Saint-Germain scores the first goal, then it's 2 goals up. Bayern Munich will have to score 3 times without conceding 1 extra goal to go through. So the first one who will score, to me, will be the winner of the night. Because if Bayern scores first, then they are edge. And this is Allianz Riviera. This is a great team. This is a very high-quality offensive squad. So if I have to bet, I will bet just money on the first goal, and then the story should be coming on with the destiny of the first goal.
I have to ask about, obviously, so many attackers on PSG that make a huge difference and are world-class players, but Ousmane Dembele, what did you make of his performance in that first leg? And there were a couple chances of which he had there that maybe should have gone in, but still finding his form and contributing to the explosive attack that PSG has.
If you look at Dembele from the last 6 months of last season, where he built up to win the Ballon d'Or trophy, he is not the same player. He's not having the same consistent 90 minutes power on the field. But if you look at the game against Bayern Munich, when there was an extra chance, an extra counter-attack opportunity, he was there. And I do believe that an away game with more space, even if the first leg was free space game, but he will have opportunity, and Paris Saint-Germain in counter-attack, even if they do play offensive football, they are, I think, to me, better team on counter-attack than just playing offensive forward football. They will try to be offensive, but to attract maybe Bayern Munich to get some extra space. And for that, Dembele is still the player with the killing instinct.
Seeing all the space that Mbappe and Vinny had there in that second leg with Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, you have to imagine someone like Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, they've got to be just, excited
licking their chops, baby.
We could, the amount of opportunities that they will get in this match, it feels like it's right there for the taking.
Yeah, of course. If you look at individuals, all of them are very skillful, and they do play together. They play with a team spirit, which was not the case a couple of years ago. We had Messi, we had Neymar, we had Mbappe, but all of them, they were on their own show business. This team is not about individuals; it's about mental and collective spirit. For that, we know that individually speaking, they can go through, but they will go through together. And also, when you remember Paris Saint-Germain, why they were not winning European games a couple of years ago, is because Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi were not doing their job in the defensive process. with these three guys, they will die on the field to win the ball on the first opportunity, 60 yards away from the Safanov goal. So it's not only about skill, it's about, I think, mental spirit about these guys.
Now, I promise that this is not a barbed question in any way aimed at the man to my left.
I feel like it is.
But how big is it for them that they did go there, finally win it, and got over that hill and got over that hump to the mentality of approaching a game like this going up against, you said it, the best team in Europe?
I think if I did understand well the question, the mental process of this game is the key. These two teams are exactly having the same quality. They defend well, but not so well. They attack well, but very well. 1 point to me where Bayern Munich is doing maybe better on the paper than Paris Saint-Germain is their goalkeeper. But it's on the paper, because on the first leg and a couple of weeks ago, Neuer was not at the peak of what we do expect from Neuer. And our goalkeeper, who was number 2 at the early stage of the season, is Mr. Nobody. But Mr. Nobody doesn't make wonderful save, but he doesn't make silly mistakes. So if Neuer is the real Neuer of 2, 3, 4 years ago, then mental spirit might be not enough for Paris Saint-Germain.
Let's just turn our attention to, I mentioned it in the build-up, the Kylian Mbappe situation. Did you refresh?
Yes, I have an update on the petition that has been signed by Madridistas to try and get Mbappe out. It is currently now at over 12.8 million signatures to get Kylian Mbappe out. And it is well on its way to potentially become the most signed petition we've ever seen.
So what is we've heard this week the Spanish perspective on it. We've heard the Real Madrid perspective on it. What's the French perspective on the Kylian Mbappe situation right now?
I'm sure hundreds of Paris Saint-Germain fans will have signed this.
I think that's an understatement. Hundreds might be very kind. Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, that's obvious. I mean, we have had a very dirty ending story with Kylian Mbappe and Paris Saint-Germain. The love affair became a hate affair. And everybody thought that it was a relief for the fans and for the team to get rid of Kylian Mbappe, not because he's not a great player, but because he's a selfish great player, and he's such a big personality and such a big ego that in the dressing room, there is no space for another one. And it was a key problem in Paris Saint-Germain. But when you go to such an historical club with such big egos inside the dressing room, from the nowadays players to the past players, you can imagine that the ego of Kylian Mbappe is not something that can be accepted, except if they win the Champions League, they win La Liga, but they don't win anything. They don't win anything with Kylian Mbappe. In the meantime, the previous club of Kylian Mbappe is winning everything or nearly everything. So I can understand the spirit, not the spirit, the mood of the Real Madrid fans. And among them, I say, and I say it again, the Paris Saint-Germain fans are backing, for the fun of it, the Real Madrid ones.
Eric, really appreciate your time. As always, brilliant stuff from you. Enjoy the game tonight, and, maybe you're in Budapest celebrating a win over Arsenal in a couple of weeks' time.
So I'll see you there.
Yeah, I was there 20 years ago when Arsenal lost at Stade de France. Don't ask me to come. I don't bring luck with the Gunners.
Stay at home.
And I was also at the final versus Galatasaray. I think it was in Denmark. I was also there, so don't bring me to an Arsenal game.
The problem is, if you've gone to any Arsenal European final other than one Cup Winners' Cup, they've lost it. So, I'm not sure you're the bad luck charm here, Eric.
Let's wrap it
no,
up.
they don't need me to be on the dark side of the hill.
Wrap it up.
Exactly. The dark side of the hill is a great phrase. Eric Bioderman, the brilliant Eric Bioderman, joining us on the S Word from talkSPORT. We've got only a minute left of the show, so who wins tonight?
Ooh. I think Bayern Munich finds a way.
Yeah, I'm the same. I want to disagree with you, but I just, as much as everything that Eric said about how progressive PSG will be, how they will come out, how they will press high, how they will not go against their style of football, I actually think that could hurt them against this Bayern Munich team. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be a brilliant game, but I definitely think they've got the 2 clear goals to win it in 90 minutes.
They're going to be hungrier. And again, it's no disrespect PSG. They just won it last year. I think Vincent Kompany has something to prove. Harry Kane has something to prove. And the club itself, the fans, Bayern Munich, German football, they have something to prove, and I think they do it tonight.
We've got an unreal show coming up tomorrow. Bomani Jones is going to be joining us. The brilliant Bomani Jones will be joining us to give us his take on all things from the North American side of soccer. And of course, we'll be reacting to one of the games of the season tonight as PSG take on Bayern Munich. Plus looking forward to the little matter of an all-British European semi-final as Nottingham Forest take on Aston Villa. All to come tomorrow on the S Word from talkSPORT.
The daily deep dive into the world of football.
The S Word
from talkSPORT.
Tonight, a big boxing drama.
I'm just ready to go to war.
Explosive insight and heavyweight boxing banter.
I'm a generation fighter. I actually feel sorry for all these guys who have to fight me.
Hard-hitting boxing discussion that jabs you between the ears.
Fantastic boxer, but this is a big step up.